Today I'm going to be making this mask. It's one of these masks that has a seam down the middle, and I followed the pattern by So Much More in store, and I'll link that video and that YouTube channel in the description below. The only thing I added was I added a wire in the nose piece, which was not in her pattern. So yeah, we're going to be making this one today. That goes around the ears, like this, and over the nose. It's pretty nice, it's pretty clean and tight fitting. Please remember, this is not a medical mask. This is just going to be made out of cotton. It's not an N95 mask. It's not a medical mask. Okay, let's get to it. The first thing I did was I do not have elastic like in her patterns, so which I think most people are using 1/4 inch elastic. I just don't have, so I ended up taking this jersey fabric. It's just like stretch knit jersey, and I cut it and I sewed. You can see the it's like a 3-point zigzag. I just kind of sandwiched the fabric, sewed on top a 3-stitch zigzag, and that worked really well for this kind of really nice, soft, stretchy earpiece. So I did that here, and I have extra, and I'm going to cut this in half for each earpiece. I'm using the size large. She has 4 different sizes that you can choose from. The one I tried here, this is actually the medium. It's a little bit tight. It fits me just about, but it could be a little bit bigger. I'm going to make some for friends and family. I think the large is going to be the most common size for adults that I know. This is my inside fabric. I'm going to be cutting 2 pieces of this. This is just some organic cotton, undyed, and it's pretty tightly woven. It's kind of like a canvas cotton. And this is really good for the fabric that goes directly on your face. I'm just going to cut 2 pieces of the large face mask pattern out of this. Those scissors were too dull. Let me see. Oh, these are much better. Okay. These are my school sewing scissors. These are in way better shape. These are my fabric scissors. Oh, these are so much nicer. Since I do so much knitwear these days, I don't do a lot of cutting fabric, so I don't break out my fabric scissors very often. But whoo, they're nice for cutting fabric. Okay, so there's 2 pieces of the inside of the mask. Okay, so we have those. This is going to be my outside fabric. This one is 86% organic cotton and 14% hemp. It's just a piece of fabric that I just happen to have, so I'm just going to use it, and this should fit 2 pieces on this pretty okay. That's a pretty snug fit, but that's fine. I think it'll still, the mask will still be fine, even if we need to make it a little bit smaller. I think it'll be fine. 2 pins, okay. Yeah, I think it's fine. The side will just be slightly less. I think will be totally fine. I'm kind of lazy with the pins. I should probably be pinning this a little bit more, but that's fine. So this will be our outside fabric. 2 pieces of this. Cool, that looks good. Oh, I did want to cut these to the right length. So on the mask it says 1/4 or 3/8 inch elastic, 6.5 inches each. This is just one long piece, so I'm going to cut this into 2 6.5 inch pieces. 6.5. There's one. I'll just measure the second one with the first one. And there's 2. Okay, so there's 2. And now we're going to sew these together. Okay, so now I'm going to sew the curved edge of the inside fabric first. And we have a 1/4 inch seam allowance, so we'll sew it right here. And then we're just going to open up the seam and press that. I'm going to go use an iron and press this center seam a little bit so it lays open. I'm going to now sew the outside fabric on the curve right here together as well. Also a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And there's that sewn. And same thing, I'm going to go press this seam open here so this lays nice and flat. And I'll be back. So on the front side, this is where the clean seam. On the front side, I'm going to just tack on the earpieces to the lining piece here and here. And on the other side as well, I'm just going to tack this on here and here, a 1/4 of an inch from either end. Okay, now I'm going to put right sides together of the mask, and I'm going to sew the sides, the top and the other side, and I'm going to leave the bottom open to be able to put my wire at the top. Then I'm just going to go in and clip the curve edge a little bit, just so it lays a little bit better, and I'm going to clip the corners. Clip sort of the corners of the mask as well, so the corners lay a little bit more open. This, I just rolled up a piece of fabric and I kind of steamed it so it held this sort of tubular shape. And this is for the nose wire. And I'm just going to tack one end so the wire doesn't fall out. Trim off excess. This is the wire that I'm using. This is like it's actually wire for picture hanging, for like hanging picture frames. And I am just going to cut off about a 6-inch piece. Okay, so there's my wire. And I'm gonna put this inside of my little casing. So this side is tacked over there. Kind of find the center of my spiral, kind of shimmy it down so where it hits, it kind of hits that edge. So we got that, it's hit there. I am going to, it gets a little bit loose, this casing, this sort of makeshift casing. So I'm going to also tack the center, being careful not to hit the wire because we don't want to break our sewing needle. So I just kind of go back and forth once or twice. Oh, that's okay, we're good. Oop. Okay, that's probably good. It's just sort of to tack it so it doesn't unroll when we're sewing it into the mask. And we find where it ends. Okay, so we're gonna tack this end as well. And I'm also gonna just trim off the extra on this side as well, so we don't need that. So here's our sort of finished casing with the wire inside. We're going to take our mask and we're going to flip it. Flip it the right way, see how it looks. See, it's looking pretty good. Use the elastic to kind of pull out the edges. It's looking pretty good. It's looking like a mask, right? The wire is going to be placed inside along here on the outside piece, more towards the outside, so there's more cushion, there's more fabric layers between your nose, your skin, and the wire, just to make sure there's extra padding. Right up there against this seam, we'll kind of wrap that, so that's in there. And then the rest of the wire goes in there. You can kind of see it just sits, the wire is, I know it's also blue, it's right here, it just sits kind of on top of the seam, right there, all along there, and we're going to sandwich it in there and attach it like that. So it's kind of sitting in there. Okay, so we're going to sew this in now. And you want to go kind of slow on this because, again, you're dealing with a metal wire and you just don't want to hit that wire. So I kind of I kind of sew with the wheel on the side of the machine. I press the footer down a little bit, but it's mostly my hand that is doing the sewing, because just in case we hit that, we don't want to go down with much force because I'm sure our sewing needle will break. So we're just kind of taking it easy along here. Kind of checking every once in a while to make sure that the wire is still up against the correct seam and it's not kind of making its way out. The last seam we're going to do is just close up this bottom part. So I'm going to go steam it a little bit and then we're going to close that. And now I'm just sewing the bottom edge together. Okay. So the blue side is the front side, and that is our mask. So I'm just going to clean up some of these seams and then I will try it on. Oops, we did get a little pucker right here in the bottom. That's fine. I mean, this is just a face mask. I'm not going crazy with the sewing on this, but yeah. At least the outside looks good, I think. Okay, so we finished the mask and it looks like this. It looks pretty good. It has the wire to keep the shape in the nose. That's the inside. That's the outside. And I'll do a quick test wear. Okay, that's basically it. Thanks for watching. Please remember that these are not medical grade masks. Just remember that. But yeah, I'm gonna make a few more of these for some family and friends. I think overall this is probably my favorite type so far as shape, and it's just very simple, the shape, and it's very clean. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell icon to get notifications when new videos come out. Stay well, stay safe, everybody. See you next time. Bye.